All right, what's going on, fight fans? This is Shawn with Boxing Socialist and Other Sports, and we are live right now. Just waiting for a few of the people to come in, but what we're going to talk about is Keith Thurman has came alive. Nobody knows where Keith Thurman has been at for the last year and a half. Then all of a sudden, he pops his head up out of nowhere, and he's giving his thoughts on the Shawn Porter versus Danny Garcia fight that's taking place this Saturday. And I know y'all probably interested and want to know, what in the world does Keith Thurman have to say? Well, Keith Thurman has a lot to say. You know why? Because Keith Thurman beat both of these guys his last two fights. He ended up beating Shawn Porter and he beat Danny Garcia. So being that he beat both of these fighters, he has all the right in the world to talk about who he thinks is going to win this fight. Now, I gave y'all my prediction the other day. If y'all didn't see it, check out my two videos from the other day. Yesterday, matter of fact, which I gave the keys to victory of Danny Garcia beating Shawn Porter and the keys of victory of Shawn Porter beating Danny Garcia. I gave both of them. And in that, I gave my prediction of how they both can win the fight. Now, when it comes to Keith Thurman, like I said, Keith Thurman has fought both of these guys. So he knows what it's like. He knows who hits harder, who's the quicker, who's the faster of the two. Interesting is what Keith Thurman said. Keith Thurman, pretty much said the same thing that we've always said, is that, matter of fact, I'm going to read it to you verbatim. How about that? He goes and said, this is one of the best matchups of the year. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't go that far. The best matchup by far is probably going to be the Triple G versus Canelo Alvarez. That's the most anticipated matchup of the whole year. But even to say that's going to be like the best matchup of the year, I can't really say that just yet. So I wouldn't go that far. I understand you with Showtime, and Al probably told you to hype it up, so you got to say these things. I understand. No hard feelings, Keith. I'm not going to hold that to you. And Keith Thurman goes and says, I try not to overthink it. Try not to overthink it? All right. Don't really know what that means. You're going to pick a person anyway. You already got in your mind who you think is going to win. And he says, it's Porter by decision or Garcia only by KO. But I'm going to lean towards Shawn Porter. Porter by decision, which means you don't think Shawn Porter can knock out Danny Garcia, which is interesting. I said in my previous video, he get caught with that overhand right, just right. We'll see about that. And interesting, he feels that Garcia can't win by decision. He has to knock out Shawn Porter. There's some of y'all here in the chat room. So far, before we go on, what do y'all think so far about Keith Thurman's assessment about that Shawn Porter can only win by decision and that Danny Garcia can only win by knockout? Come on, there's a lot of y'all in here. Tell me what y'all think so far about Keith Thurman's comment before we move on to the next thing that he had to say, or why he's leaning more towards Shawn Porter. Go ahead, drop something in the chat. I already told you what I thought about it the other day when I gave my keys to victory. Like I said, if you haven't checked it out, look in my video section and comment down below. And look, for those of y'all that's in here right now, if you look down in my description, I have a link to my PayPal. You can throw a little money that way. I got my link to my podcast as well. You can hit that little, see that little money icon, that super chat button. You can drop your boy a few bucks, $1, $2, $5, $10, whatever you want to drop. Totally up to you. All right, since y'all not going to say anything, we're going to move on to what else Keith Thurman had to say. Keith Thurman went on to say, Shawn is clearly the more physical fighter. And I absolutely agree with that. But Danny Garcia is not really a small guy either. I mean, I know he looks maybe kind of frail to some of y'all, but he's actually a pretty decent sized guy for 147 pounds. I'm not saying he's the biggest, but he's not a low wimp either. You know, he does have some size to him, and I mean, let's be honest. I mean, he's got a great left hook. Not so impressed with the right hand, but the left hook, man. I mean, he can crank that joker out. Bam. Matter of fact, who had a better left hook? Danny Garcia or Arturo Gatti? Woo. That's a close one. But darn, I gotta admit, I gotta give the edge to Arturo Gatti. I mean, that man can be knocked out on his feet. Gotti be like this. Bow! And just knock you right out while he's out cold. Arturo Gatti is the only guy I know that was out on his feet, knocked out, about to go to sleep, and can put you out with the left hook just like that. Black Dollar. All right, we got something for you. Are you going to talk about Al Heyman and PBC inking a Fox for 22 shows over 60 million and a new deal with Showtime for like 22 fights over 60 million? Kind of destroys your Al Heyman PBC bashing. Black Dollar. Let's see. I didn't know about the PBC inking a Fox deal for 22 shows for over 60 million. Now that's good. Now, the Showtime, the 22 fights, 60 million, that's one of those I scratch your back, you scratch mine. Steven Espinoza definitely saved Al Heyman. And listen, if you watched my video the other day, I gave Black Dollar, I gave Al Heyman his props. If you watched the video, Black Dollar, I went just like this. Al Heyman is a genius for finding suckers. Finding suckers to give him money like that. If you watched my video from the other day, I think it was called Why Isn't PBC Free? All I heard for the first year is PBC for free. I even did a little dancing song. I was like, come on, y'all. PBC for free. PBC for free. Come on now. PBC for free. Y'all didn't join along with my song. And I don't hear not one single fighter talking about PBC for free. And I think I saw, 3 fights on CBS, NBC for free. I paid for Fox. That wasn't free. I had to pay that part of my cable bill. Showtime wasn't free. I had to pay for that. ESPN wasn't free. I had to pay for that part of my cable bill. I at least thought Bounce TV was going to be free. First of all, I didn't even find Bounce TV. I'm like, where's this Bounce? Then I found I had to download the app called Black Sugar just to see Bounce fights. I was like, I'll pay $3 a month or $4 a month for Brown Sugar. I'm like, why am I to all this free TV? But anyway, needs to say Black Dollar, he's good at finding suckers. I mean, you ever watch Dracula movies where Dracula, he bites on your neck and he drains you of everything you got, takes all the blood out of you? He did a good job draining HBO, and once he got all the blood out, he left them. He went to the hedge fund people for PBC to get that started. He sucked the life and the blood right out of them and kind of killed them off. And now he's sucking on Showtime. Hopefully, Showtime has enough blood that they don't pass out from all the sucking he's doing. But Al Heyman is a genius, and I give him the credit. If you can find a sucker, take him for the ride. Now, let me get back to what I was saying, Black Dollar, before you rudely interrupted me, okay? Don't let it happen again. Now, let's go back to what I was saying. See, now you're going to throw me off. But anyway, you have, I was talking about the best left hook. Arturo Gatti got the better left hook than Danny Garcia, but we're going to move on from that. I know y'all agree with Arturo Gatti. But anyway, Keith Thurman, and I see why he's leaning more to Shawn Porter. He's leaning more to Shawn Porter because Shawn Porter is the more physical guy. Oh, yeah, let me finish saying what he was saying. Danny can punch with both hands. I know Danny can hit with the left hook pretty good. I'm not as convinced with the right hand, and don't get me wrong, I'm not taking anything away from Danny Garcia. I'm not saying that Danny doesn't have a right hand, I just haven't seen too many knockouts with the right hand. Interesting, he goes on to say that Danny Garcia, he does load up. And he said, so you can't be right there in front of him. And that's true. If you really pay attention, are you supposed to have a background job? It's my background job. It's where I shoot a lot of my, if you ever watch all my other videos, the only thing I don't like, man, with YouTube Live built-in dimming is they need to have a button where you can add chroma key. Anybody that understands anything about live streaming and you have a background, if you can add a chroma key to it, it works out 10 times better. But YouTube hasn't got to that yet. Hopefully they'll get it soon. That way I can add backgrounds and everything else. Now, he says that Danny Garcia likes to load up. You know, I didn't really think about that, but the more I dwell on it, I was like, you know what? He's right. He does load up a lot. And he goes on to say, this makes sense. He says, with Danny, I've never seen anyone so willing, so willing to just stare at me. Now, when he first said that, I'm like, stare at you? There ain't no funny business going on, is there? What do you mean he's staring at you? But as I read more into it, I understand what he's saying. He said he's so willing to just stare at me without throwing a punch. He's committed to being second. And when he said that, I almost fell out of my chair laughing. He's committed to being second. You know what that puts me in mind of? Y'all ever see Talladega Nights? Tell me y'all seen it with Will Ferrell, Talladega Nights. You know where I'm about to go at? He said, well, his dad told him this. Son, if you ain't first, you're last. And when I first saw Talladega Nights, I cracked up laughing. But the more I thought about it, you're right. If you don't come in first place, you just last. Who cares about second, third, fourth, fifth? The objective is to come in first. If you ain't first, you last. And so I cracked up laughing when I saw this because I thought about Talladega Nights. He said, I've never seen anyone so willing to just stare at me without throwing a punch. He's committed to being second. A pure counter puncher. And I thought about it. I said, you know what? You're right, Shawn. He's a counter puncher. That could work, and it might not work against him. And because Shawn Porter's the kind of guy that's going to keep coming, keep coming, keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. He's going to keep that heat on you for 12 rounds of pressure. The only way I can see him putting him to sleep is when he rushes. I mean, he's got to time it perfect. He's got to take a half step, bow, and throw that hook. The problem is, and if you look at my other videos, you'll see it. Danny Garcia has a habit of keeping that left low. He drops and hooks. You know, he just doesn't turn it. He cocks it. Shawn Porter, he swings wild. Likes to come with that overhand right. Could work, might not work. Didn't he? So that's why Thurman was beating Garcia to the punch. Absolutely. Keith Thurman is a boxer puncher. Keith Thurman will rely on his punching power first and if he can't get at you with that one time, he automatically goes into boxing mode. And who was that he fought? I think it was Diego Chavez. Diego Chavez hit just as hard as Keith Thurman. And with Keith Thurman was hitting him with them bombs and Diego was taking it, he went straight to boxing mode. And eventually he went on and got the win and all that. But Keith showed, and he's evolving each fight, that he's a boxer puncher. Now, I'm not sure what he is now because he's been out of the ring for a year and a half. I don't know what he has left. And I think what was it? Shoulder surgery, arm surgery, shoulder, whatever injury he has. We don't know what he's like anymore. And Al got him a few $1 million. And God, I'm being honest, it's like he lost his fire and desire. And that's one thing I say about Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather never lost the desire, no matter how many millions he made, to want to fight. He didn't let money stop him from having that fire on the inside. And if it was for him getting old, he wouldn't retired. He probably could have put out another 2 to 3 more fights over a 2-year period, but he realized he was losing a step, and it's not where he used to be. But yeah, I mean, that's why Thurman was able to beat Danny Garcia to the punch. So that is one of Danny's weaknesses, is he does like to wait and counter punch instead of attack. And Danny, when he does use the jab, has a great jab. And like I said in my other videos, I haven't mentioned that if Danny can come out firing a rapid jab, blah, blah, blah. A rapid jab and a hard jab will stop people rushing in all the time. It will bust the nose, cause it to bleed, and swell up that lip. The problem is a lot of people ain't committed. A fighter that's fell from grace, but at one time I thought he had one of the best jabs in the business. That was Jermaine Taylor. Jermaine Taylor had a piston-like jab. If only Danny Garcia had something like that, he can offset Shawn Porter. So I have to agree a little bit with Keith Thurman. Whew. If Danny does win, it does have to be by KO. Shawn, he could win by decision, but don't be shocked if he can hurt and get Danny out of there with the constant pressure. Might not work. So a lot of people are leaning towards Shawn Porter getting a victory. So what are your thoughts so far about what Keith Thurman had to say? It's quite a few of y'all in there. Man, listen, hit that little button down there that has a little money icon. It's called a super chat. Hit your boy up with $1, $2, $3, $5. Anything's appreciated. Let's keep the channel going and the live stream going. Man, I talked about money. I done had 2 or 3 people drop off just like that. Don't let money run your way now. All right, what else we got in here? Battle rifle. Lots of that. Danny could win on points. He's not a knockout puncher. That's true, battle rifle. But when you're not a knockout puncher, how do you keep Shawn Porter off of you? Demi, I agree to the point when he said Garcia could only win by knockout. So, Demi, do you actually think that Garcia could win by points? That's a long shot, man. I'm not saying you're wrong, man, but that's a long shot, man. If he does that, that's good. Yes, all right. Black Dollar, I'm going to go back to what you said. It's only been around for 3 years, but it's 20 fights on Fox for free. Bashing campaign over. PBC is the best thing boxing is going on right now. Black Dollar. Well, y'all stop saying Fox is free. You cannot turn on the rabbit ears. If you live out in the country, you can't flick your antenna. You are not going to get Fox for free unless you pay part of your cable subscription. That's just the bottom line. Fox is not free. It just isn't. You let them brainwash into this. And listen, and I'm not going to say Al Heyman isn't putting on good fights. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying don't make these claims saying that it's free and it isn't free. Only 2 to 3 fights, I think, came on CBS and NBC that was free. Out of 3 years, that was it. Everything else cost me money. If you want to come out with a claim, it's going to be free, it's going to be worldwide, and then once you run through the hedge fund of money, now I got to run back to the network TVs because they're going to pay us. Come on, man. It's just beating the system. Just call it for what it is. You try to do the free thing, it didn't work, and now you're back to Showtime and Fox and ESPN and the networks that actually pay you. Okay? It was a good try. It didn't work, but you're back home. All right, battle rifle. You time him coming in, and you time him well. Shawn Porter is very underrated as far as boxing skill, but he has bad balance. Yeah. Yeah, he has bad balance, man. Listen, everybody knows that Danny Garcia is the better boxer. Everybody knows that Shawn Porter is the rough tackle, football, make it nasty type fighter. It kind of puts your mind of Sergio. What was his name? Sergio Baca. He was a rough, tough fighter, and when he went against Andre Ward let him know, you ain't gonna manhandle me, boy. You want to fight rough? I'm gonna fight rough. And Andre Ward beat Baca in his own game, and Baca couldn't do anything. He was just blown away. And there's another 168-pounder he knocked off. Ching, check right off the pedestal. Sakio Bika. Yeah, that's right. Man, I'm thinking about NBA. Sergio Baca, the NBA honor. Yeah, Sakio Bika. Yep. All right, what other questions y'all want? We've been on here 20 minutes now. I told you what Keith Thurman thought about the Shawn Porter, Danny Garcia fight. Y'all got anything else y'all want to throw my way before I let y'all go? All right. Don't worry, I'm going to try to pick this back up. I want to come back Thursday. If not Thursday, I'm going to try to come back Saturday. I'm going to do something around the afternoon, something live in the afternoon before the actual fights take place. Who do you bet on? Man. Always bet on the underdog. Bet the underdog. You got more chances of winning. I'm personally going to go with Shawn Porter. Close fight. Like, I could see it being a split decision fight. It's going to be that close. All right, there you have it. Don't forget that American is fighting this weekend. I think it's this weekend. Yeah, American is fighting this weekend against Vargas. Be sure to check out that fight as well. That's what I'm going to do. Thursday, I'm going to try to do a live chat about the American fight. Nobody's really talking about that, so we'll do that next. All right, until next time, this is Shawn with Boxing Social and Other Sports. We signing out.